Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into, well, a truly unprecedented and quite gripping case from Singaporean history. We're talking about Mimi Wong, a name really etched into the country's legal annals.
hmm
This isn't just some historical footnote, it's a landmark criminal case, one that still resonates, decades later.
Exactly. And our deep dive today, we're going to unravel this really complex narrative of Mimi Wong. She was a woman who tragically became the first to be sentenced to death and executed for murder in independent Singapore.
Wow.
And what makes this story even more unique is that her former husband and accomplice, Woh Kum, he actually went to the gallows right alongside her.
A couple, okay. And to help us navigate this pretty intricate history, we've pulled from quite a collection of sources. We're looking at detailed historical accounts like the Wikipedia page on Mimi Wong and also some really compelling journalism,
Right?
pieces like Mimi Wong, Singapore's first woman on death row, and the case of Mimi Wong.
Yeah, those give us a really comprehensive, sort of multifaceted view of the events, the trial, which was dramatic, and of course the aftermath.
So our mission today is pretty clear. We want to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight from these accounts for you.
That's right. We'll explore the factors that led to this really tragic crime, the intense legal battle that followed, and, the enduring legacy of a case that absolutely captivated the nation back then.
Consider this your shortcut, then, to getting well-informed about a truly pivotal and frankly quite shocking moment in Singapore's legal history.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Right. Mimi Wong, born Wong Weng-soo back in 1939, her childhood sounds like it was marked by immense hardship right from the start.
Yeah, her father passed away when she was barely a year old, just 11 months. And that left her biological mother in, well, extreme poverty,
Tough.
which led to a decision that really shaped Mimi's life.
Yeah.
She was sent off to live with her father's first wife
Oh, wow.
and her 9 half-siblings.
9. Okay, and was that move any better for her?
Unfortunately, no, not at all. In that household, Mimi apparently endured severe verbal and physical abuse. Can you even imagine being so deprived of food that you were only allowed leftovers
Oh.
after everyone else had eaten?
That's awful.
Yeah. And this early trauma meant she never even got the chance to go to school. She started working at just 14 as a factory worker, just constantly struggling against poverty.
It's a truly difficult beginning, and you can sort of see how that might echo later on.
Definitely. It certainly paints a bleak picture of those formative years.
So against this backdrop, in 1956, she's just 17, she meets Woh Kum at a picnic, of all places. He
Mhm.
was an HDB sweeper, so basically a cleaner for public housing, and about 6 or 7 years older.
Right. They married in 1958, had 2 sons not long after. But their marriage, despite the kids, was far from stable, wasn't it?
Oh, far from it. The sources really paint a picture of a profoundly volatile relationship.
Mimi Wong was known for having a notoriously bad temper. Some accounts even link it to a family history of mental illness, though that's hard to confirm definitively.
Okay.
But she would frequently abuse him. Sometimes even, arming herself with knives or wooden rods.
Really? Nice.
Yeah. And Sim, who's described as pretty mild-tempered, seems to have just endured it. He actually got a permanent scar at one point from a bread knife she used on him. He'd always just run from the house to get away.
Wow.
And she even apparently abused her mother-in-law, got this chilling nickname, Empress Daughter-in-Law. It's just an incredibly dysfunctional dynamic.
And Sim's own issues didn't help, right? His gambling.
No, not at all. That seemed to just deepen their already precarious financial situation. He was apparently a compulsive gambler, squandered their earnings, eventually lost his job over it. He even resorted to stealing Mimi's own money to, fuel his habit.
So this combination, the financial strain, his gambling, the abuse, it all pushed Mimi to finally leave him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In 1963, she left him to care for their 2 young sons and his elderly mother all alone.
And what's fascinating here, despite all that, Sim seemed still attached.
Incredibly so. Against all odds, really. He seemed to remain deeply in love with her, holding on to hopes they'd get back together. He even recalled how Mimi would deliberately, strut with her boyfriends right in front of him, something he begged her not to do.
Wow, that detail really underscores the power dynamics, doesn't it? Even after they separated, she still had this hold over him.
Absolutely. It shows the deep emotional complexities at play.
So after leaving Sim and that life behind, Wong Weng-soo basically reinvents herself.
Completely. She adopts the stage name Mimi Wong and pretty quickly becomes this hugely popular cabaret girl, renowned, the sources say, for her good looks and slender, sexually attractive figure.
Okay.
Eventually even earning the title the Queen of all bar hostesses in Singapore. Quite a dramatic shift from that factory floor.
Absolutely. And this new career path leads her to Hiroshi Watanabe.
Yes, a Japanese engineer. This was in 1966. He was in Singapore working on a reclamation project, and there was this immediate, powerful attraction between them, led straight to an affair.
But he was married, right?
He was. The sources are quite clear that Watanabe couldn't bring himself to abandon his wife in Japan. And Mimi herself apparently knew, that this illicit relationship probably wouldn't end well. There's a hint of fatalism there.
And things got complicated very fast. She got pregnant.
Yeah, pregnant with Watanabe's child.
Yeah.
But he refused to pay for an abortion, claimed he didn't have the cash.
Oh, God.
So she had to travel all the way to Penang to get the abortion herself.
Wow.
Then later, in 1968, she starts another relationship, this time with a Hong Kong businessman. Gets pregnant again. He kicked her out. She came back to Singapore, gave birth to a daughter in 1969. It just sounds like this pattern of instability, and heartbreaking abandonment.
It really does. Yet, despite all this, Hiroshi Watanabe, he's still in the picture.
He is still drawn to Mimi. By mid-1969, she officially becomes his mistress. He gave her $200 a month. She moved into a rented room on Alexandra Road. Then a few months later, they moved again to Everett Road. She lived there with her daughter, even had a servant. So this was sort of the setup as things started to, spiral.
And spiral they did. Late 1969, Hiroshi Watanabe makes this huge confession to his wife, Ayako, tells her about the affair.
Right. And Ayako, as you'd expect, was profoundly disapproving. Hiroshi himself admitted he was scared of Mimi Wong's temper. Apparently, she dropped hints that something drastic might happen to his family if he tried to end things.
That must have put him in a terrifying spot.
She sounds truly desperate. He was so afraid of her reaction that he persuaded Ayako and their 3 children to actually come to Singapore. That was December 23rd, 1969.
His thinking was, if they were there physically...
Yeah, his hope was that their presence would somehow give him the strength or the leverage to finally end the affair with Mimi.
How did Mimi react to them arriving?
Well, initially she was enraged, abusive towards Hiroshi when she found out, but then eventually she agreed to meet Ayako and the children.
And this is where it gets really unsettling. The facade she puts up.
Exactly. She acted incredibly kindly towards Ayako and the kids. Gave them sweets, apparently. The children, totally unaware, started calling her Oba-san, which means, aunt.
Oh, wow.
She even went to a New Year's Eve party the Watanabes hosted. But underneath all this outward niceness, the sources say Mimi was just writhing in jealousy.
It's almost unimaginable, that level of deception, playing nice while plotting.
It certainly is, and that simmering jealousy, it finally boiled over on New Year's Eve. Hiroshi, apparently quite drunk, allegedly told Mimi that his wife, Ayako, had called her a prostitute.
Oof. Whether true or not, that would sting.
Exactly. That accusation, combined with Mimi's growing fear that the affair would now definitely fizzle out because Ayako was in town, it just pushed her over the edge. It was the final catalyst. Her emotions just took over.
And that's when she goes back to Woh Kum, her estranged husband.
Yeah, makes a shocking decision. She saw her chance, maybe. Offered Sim money to help her kill Ayako.
And Sim. Despite everything they've been through, he accepts.
He did. He was apparently still very much in love with Mimi, or at least deeply attached. And facing severe financial problems himself. He accepted the offer.
What does that say about the hold she still had on him, even after years apart, after all the abuse?
It's incredibly telling, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
His maybe misplaced devotion mixed with his own desperate situation just made him tragically vulnerable to her influence.
He seems caught in this web, emotional manipulation, dire circumstances.
Yeah, and the stage was set for something truly horrific. January 6th, 1970. Hiroshi declined Mimi's request to stay the night with her. She saw her chance.
Right.
She and Sim went to the Watanabe's home on Jelly and Seaview. Mimi brought gloves, a knife. Sim carried a tin half filled with toilet cleaning liquid.
Why the liquor?
It was a prop. The idea was to pretend he was a worker, there to fix a broken toilet basin, just to get inside.
Okay, so Ayako lets them in. She's 33 at this point.
Yes, she lets them in, and then the horrific events unfolded. And chillingly, they were witnessed by her 9-year-old daughter, Chico. She was awake in her bedroom.
Oh no, what did she see?
Chico heard screams in the bathroom, looked out, saw Sim throw the liquid in her mother's eyes, cover her mouth. Ayako actually bit his finger in the struggle, while Mimi Wong just repeatedly stabbed Ayako.
Unimaginable for a child. Absolutely horrific.
Chico's account was, as you can imagine, central to the prosecution. and just harrowing. She shrieked out of shock, started crying. That caught Mimi Wong's attention.
What did Mimi do?
Quickly covered the little girl's mouth. Chico, silenced, then ran back into her room trying to wake her siblings. Ayako, bleeding massively, staggered towards her daughter but just collapsed. Died shortly after.
And Mimi and Sim?
They fled. Immediately.
Mimi then went to her ama, her helper.
Yes. Sought refuge there. And later, incredibly brazenly, told witnesses she had stabbed a Japanese woman while drunk.
Just admitted it.
Apparently so. Hiroshi came home later that night, found his 3 children just hysterical, crying over Ayako's body. And Chica, the 9-year-old, even in her trauma, she was able to tell her father it was Obasan and a man who I did not know.
Wow. That identification must have been crucial.
Absolutely. Police officer Tan Kim Hai led the investigation. Swift arrests followed the very next day, Mimi Wong and Woh Kum. Chico identified them both in a police lineup, became the prosecution's key witness. Pivotal.
And the forensic evidence?
Forensic pathologist Chatsi Chang examined Ayako, found 2 fatal knife wounds, neck and abdomen. Confirmed death within about 5 to 6 minutes, and critically, no signs of self-inflicted wounds. Confirmed others were involved. The evidence was really mounting against them.
So the trial starts November 1970, lasts 26 days, and they blame each other.
Oh yeah, completely. Pointing fingers. Create a real mess for the court. Mimi claims Sim was the sole killer, said he stabbed Ayako after Mimi had only fought with her in the toilet.
But she also tried another defense, diminished responsibility.
She did. Claimed she was intoxicated at the time. And also, suffering from a viral brain infection, Japanese encephalitis, a serious brain inflammation.
Where did she say she got that?
Alleged she caught it from Hiroshi Watanabe. Her psychiatrist, Dr. Wang Yip-chung, actually supported this, argued it would have impaired her judgment.
But the prosecution had their own expert.
They did. Their psychiatrist stated she was of sound mind. So you had this direct clash of expert testimony.
And Sim, what was his story? He confessed initially.
He did, to the police, but then dramatically recanted during the trial. Claims he only tried to separate the 2 women fighting.
Said Ayako bit his finger when he was breaking it up.
Exactly. His lawyer tried to portray him as simple, naive, basically a pawn in Mimi's whole scheme.
And he threw in that bit about the triad gang?
Yeah, another curveball, accused Mimi of being in the Red Butterfly Gang, an all-female triad. Just a chaotic defense strategy from both sides, really.
So despite all this back and forth, these conflicting stories, the verdict.
December 7th, 1970. High Court judges Tanata and Chor Singh found both of them guilty of murder. They determined Mimi Wong was fully in control, intended to murder Ayako out of jealousy. Pure and simple. The judges found he shared that common intention with Mimi. He went there knowing the plan. Made him equally culpable, both sentenced to death. And that made them the first couple to face capital punishment in independent Singapore. A huge, groundbreaking verdict, set a major precedent.
Right. So following the conviction, Mimi Wong didn't just accept it, she appealed.
No, she fought it. Launched 2 unsuccessful appeals. Really shows you the extent of the legal process. First was the Court of Appeal, March 1972. And she had David Saul Marshall argue for her.
The former chief minister, a big name.
A very big name. He argued there were errors in how the trial judges handled the evidence about diminished responsibility. But that appeal was rejected.
And then they went higher.
They did. Both Sim and Wong sought special leave to appeal to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council in London, which was, back then, the highest court of appeal for Singapore.
But that didn't work either.
Nope, those requests were also denied. All judicial avenues were exhausted.
So Marshall tried one last thing, clemency.
Yes. Known for his humanitarian stance, he made this final plea directly to President Benjamin Shears, asked him to commute Mimi's sentence to life imprisonment. He highlighted her really tough childhood, the poverty, the abuse, and also her conversion to Christianity in prison, her apparent commitment to religion.
But the president declined.
He did. On July 23, 1973, President Shears, acting on the advice of the cabinet, that's how it works, declined clemency for Mimi Wong. Sim's clemency appeal was also rejected around the same time. Their fate was sealed. Execution was scheduled just days later.
A stark reminder of the finality of it all. What was her time like on death row?
Well, she was in solitary confinement, described as a difficult inmate sometimes, prone to stripping naked, throwing urine at wardens, clearly distressed.
But then there was this unlikely friendship with the executioner.
Yeah, quite remarkable. Darshan Singh, the chief executioner, he was famously the only one who could calm her down. He'd apparently say things like, Mimi, wear the blanket and cover yourself. Don't do this or you won't be beautiful anymore. And she would listen to him. She also, as Marshall noted, converted to Christianity during this time, found solace reading the Bible in her cell. It just speaks to the complex humanity, doesn't it? Even in those final extreme circumstances.
That friendship is a truly surprising, almost poignant detail. So the execution day arrives.
July 27th, 1973. Nearly 3 years and 7 months after the murder. Mimi Wong, aged 34, and Woh Kum, aged 40, were hanged at dawn by Darshan Singh.
And her final wish, to wear her wedding gown.
Yes, that wish was granted. She wore her wedding gown as she walked to the gallows.
There was also that alleged detail about her wishing to be lovers with Singh in the next life.
Yes, that's been reported, though hard to verify, obviously. What is known is that after her execution, Singh apparently fell severely ill for over a month.
The psychological toll, perhaps, especially with that connection they had.
Quite possibly. The couple, Mimi and Sim, were buried side by side in an unspecified cemetery.
And the children, what happened to them?
Mimi Wong's 4-year-old daughter placed flowers on her grave. Left a note, just heartbreaking, reading, "To my beloved mother."
Oh, goodness.
Their 2 sons were taken into care by social welfare organizations, and Sim's elderly mother went to live in an elderly residence home. Just fragmented lives left behind.
The significance of this case, though, it really can't be overstated, can it?
Not at all. She was the first woman executed. And with Sim, the first couple executed in independent Singapore, the case just exploded in national notoriety, became one of the most shocking, most discussed murder cases in Singapore's history as a young nation.
Why do you think it captured the public imagination so intensely? Was it just those firsts?
I think it was more than that. It was the sheer audacity, maybe. The layers of betrayal, that raw jealousy, the details of her life as a bar hostess, and that really unusual dynamic with the former husband dragged back in as an accomplice. It just had all these ingredients for a captivating, almost cinematic tragedy.
Yeah, you can see why it's stuck in people's minds. And it still gets revisited.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because of that, it continues to resonate in popular media. It was featured in that book, Guilty as Charged, 25 Crimes That Have Shaken Singapore Since 1965, first as an ebook in 2015, then paperback in 2017.
And TV shows, too?
Yeah, reenactments and crime shows, like Crimes and Tribulations back in '97. True Files in 2002, Eve Woy played Wong, Tawny Tan played Sim, and even Whispers of the Dead in 2014, though they changed the names for that one.
Right. Mimi Wong was a tragic first, but as you mentioned, not the last woman executed in Singapore.
No, sadly not. Other notable cases followed over the years. Catherine Tan Mui Chu and Ho Ka Hong from the infamous Adrian Lim ritual murders in '81, CCO Beng in '86, Chin So Noi '95, Floor Contemplation also '95. That was a hugely controversial case internationally. Teo Kim Hong in '96, Geraldine Andrew in '99. Each added another layer to Singapore's complex legal history regarding capital punishment for women.
Indeed. Each case left its mark. But Mimi Wong's story, for all its, sensationalism and deep sorrow, it feels foundational, doesn't it?
It does. A stark, unforgettable moment that continues to be examined for what it reveals about human nature, desperation, jealousy, and, of course, the justice system itself.
So wrapping this up, what does it all mean for us looking back? We've traced this really harrowing path of Mimi Wong, from that childhood of abuse and poverty, through a life just tangled in toxic relationships, culminating in this incredibly violent crime that shocked a young nation, and etched her name into Singapore's legal history, the first woman executed since independence. Her story, and Woh Kum's alongside hers, it remains this poignant, widely discussed case, still explored decades later.
Yeah, the case of Mimi Wong is such a powerful, if grim, reminder how deeply personal histories, these intense emotions like jealousy and just desperate circumstances can tragically intertwine with, the unforgiving machinery of the justice system.
It really raises an important question, doesn't it? What can we truly learn about the human capacity for both cruelty, maybe, and even resilience in some strange way when we delve into stories as complex and impactful as this one?
Exactly. Yeah. And how do these historical events continue to shape our understanding today? Our understanding of crime, of punishment, and that enduring, often difficult quest for justice in any society. Something to think about.